Bondzee on YouTube.
Hi. Happy Friday. It's Greg Bond. Bondzee. Bonzarelli. Douchebag. Depends who you're talking to. Asshole. Dick face. But it's just me. Gregory Scott. If you're me mom and I'm in trouble. Welcome to the show. How the hell are you doing? Oh, I guess I better mute the baseball game, seeing the show started. Go Jays, go. We'll get into that in a second. But before we do, welcome. It's BONDZEE Live. On Tripping with Bondzee on YouTube. Also, the Dean Blundell Network. Super thankful for that. And it's been I'd say it's been a dream. You know, I was a huge Dean fan back in the day. It's no secret. Loved the guy, loved the show. Thought he's funny as hell. Kind of became sort of weird friends in a weird way. Same divorce lawyer. And shared stories over the years. We always followed each other, kind of shoot the shit here and there. And then boom. All I had to do was sell my house and everything I owned. And then now we're super pals. And I'm on his network. And we're co-hosts once, twice a week. And tonight's guest is another co-host from the same show, Dean Blundell Show, Monday to Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the old Dean Blundell Network. James DiFiore. Can't wait to talk to this guy. It's a real funny story, too. You're going to love this guy. He's smarter than me and you and you and you and Glassy combined. Seriously. The guy's like mega smart. But he's got his demons, too, like we all do. Yeah, so welcome to the show. It's BONDZEE Live. Dean Blundell Network, BONDZEE Live, Tripping with Bondzee on YouTube. Go check it out there, please. Pretty please. I hate to beg, but Jesus Christ. It's so easy to go to YouTube, Tripping with Bondzee and search. Boom, there it is. Subscribe. Free, by the way. And then watch the show there, because guess what? Then it gets me more watched hours. And then it also gets me more exposure on there and in the algorithm better. And then money. Makes the world go round, doesn't it? It's an evil little bitch, though, isn't it? But we love her. Him? What do you call money? Is it her or him? Leanne Shafi, 12, says, evening. Good evening to you. You look lovely tonight. I've been with Dina for 20 plus years. Does that mean I'm a stalker? Me too. Now I'm stalking right on his show. Twice a week. Mondays and Fridays. This seems to be the way it's going. Anyways, I've never had a better time doing the show, and it all started from me being a raging piss tank in my parents' basement during the height of COVID, when I had to come home from Nicaragua, and my house was rented out, so I had to go to the dwellings, the basement dwellings, where I was terrified. My parents still live in my childhood home, by the way. I was terrified of that house, not the house, the basement. Fucking scary shit down there. As a little kid, you know, I still do it to this day in that house as a grown adult. This is a true story. I'd be down in the basement. Well, I lived there for 4 months. But if, you know, the lights are out, you got to go upstairs. To this day, I don't know if it's just inbred in me, ran up those stairs like my ass was on fire. Or Michael Myers or Freddy Krueger was right behind me, hot, coming in hot. It's funny, eh? It's just one of those things. Love that house, though. Love me parents too. Had a lovely chat with them yesterday. I think they're starting to come around with the old show and my honestness. It's not for them. And God bless them, though they want to watch and support me and tell all their friends and family. But by golly, sometimes I'm a little much for old Sarge and Pops. It's my dad's birthday this weekend. Got to give Pops a big shout out. 74. It's okay to say your dad's age, right? If not, it's too bad. Too late. Just did. But I did do this. Called up my boy Leo at Shakespeare's Fine Dining in Hamilton today. Wonderful restaurant. I highly recommend you go there. And I said, Leo, Dad's birthday. I miss them. They've done so much for me. Not only on this trip, but my entire life. And listen, I'm not low maintenance by any means. Still at 48 years old, I'm a pain in the ass. And you know what? My parents wouldn't have it any other way either, though. They love me, and I love them, and I'm beyond thankful that they're still alive. My God. Patrick Desmond says, how do I look tonight? Patrick, I mean, come on. We've already had sexual encounters. You always look lovely. I got to stop saying this stuff because it's starting to be a trend. All my friends on Facebook yesterday sending me all these birthday messages, and other people going, I can't wait to see you. And it'll just be like old times, and they post a picture of like a Brokeback Mountain and the guy's hugging. I talked about everybody thought I was gay in grade 9, my first day of grade 9 on the last show. Brad Hopper says, happy Friday, everybody. Glad you aren't at that derby tonight, Ryan. Yeah, welcome to the show. It's Patrick. It's Gord. We got Brad Hopper, who's going to be a guest soon. I can't wait to have that guy on the show. Brilliant fella. He was a firefighter, I think he started. Now he's a paramedic. He's the size of a brick shithouse, too, by the way. And he's a new friend of mine, and I'm very thankful for that fella. George Vincent, thanks for watching. I believe you are in the Carolinas. Maybe you're still there. Maybe you're not. I had a blaster of a burp there, but I pump the brakes. Gwen, thank you for watching. She says, happy Friday. Tara Graves, happy Friday. She's going to Shakespeare's Fine Dining tomorrow. Have a great time. Tell Leo said hi. Give him a hug for me, please, will you? And Leo, if you're watching, I don't even have to say this, but because you get the most amazing service there. It's not only the best fine dining and a free plug. This guy owes me so much because I got a plug coming up at the end of the show. But the food is tremendous, and so is the service. It's a family-run restaurant. Go check it out. You will not be disappointed. Tara's going to have the time of her life, and my boy's going to take care of my mom and dad on Wednesday. Yeah. Hi. How are you? Happy Friday. What else? James DiFiore, like I said, coming up. Can't wait to see this. Talk to this guy because listen, here's how it goes, and I'll tease it real quick. You know, you get the old French tickler. It's what we do in the radio business, or cliffhanger, as they call it, whatever. I like to call it tease. Me and James didn't actually hit it off when we first met, and when I joined the Dean Blundell show Monday to Friday, 3 p.m. on his network. And when I first came on, I'll never forget it. James just thought, how the fuck is this clown? Guy's like shot out of a cannon, 1 million miles a minute. He's weird. He sold his house, sold everything he owns. He bought a bus. Who is this guy? And we'll talk about it. And I look forward to it. And now we're besties. I can't wait. Brad says, not sure I have enough blue clothes on to be watching Bondzee Rally. Hey, it's Blue Day, okay? I was feeling all blue yesterday for my birthday, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But I was going to sit here and do the whole poor Bondzee on his birthday. But so let's get right into it. Anyways, James is the smartest dude I ever met. I can't wait to talk to him, and we'll have some laughs for sure. And he'll probably do most of the talking because he's really good at it. How did I get into his interview all of a sudden? Whoa, settle down here, Greg. Who's Greg? Jay's playing. How they doing? It's commercial. I can't even see. Anyways, they've been on a tear. We're knocking on the door of the playoffs. We're playing one of the worst teams in the league. I think we play them 7 times over the next 10 days, the Minnesota Twins. So hopefully there's 2 spots left. 3 teams are in it. So rah, sis, boom, bah for the Jays. Wear your blue. Wear your Jays stuff. Let's go. Put the vibes out there. And God, I love the Jays. I really do. Okay, let's get into it. Yesterday was my birthday. 48, looking great. So my both my boys said, and I do feel great. Other than the shit I'm going through with the vaccine nightmare. Thank you for watching, Nicole, Carrie LaPugila, tuning in. Carrie Gething, for those from the Westdale days. You guys are the best. Patrick says, I hope old Sarge gives some. I can't even read the rest of that. You're such a jerk. I get suckered into this stuff because I just see it, and I like to make the show very interactive. For those of you who can't see it, everything, you can find us on Twitch. You can find it on YouTube, either through my networks or Dean's. And if you're listening through Spotify or wherever and you can't see the stuff, just know this. Gregory shot out of a cannon, as always. And sometimes we show pictures and things that you just can't see. And I'm sorry for that. But you can go see it on YouTube. So go check it out. And Facebook. Stop watching on Facebook. How many times have Manager Jason in the house? Welcome, Manager Jason. He says, why are people watching here on Facebook? They should watch it on YouTube now. Yeah. And he was yelling. Actually, I didn't say it as yelling. I kind of mocked him, but he's yelling. And when Manager Jason yells, you better listen. Because I do. And we'll get into that right in 1 second. So listen, I was gonna bitch and moan and sit here and I had the worst shittiest birthday yesterday. It was different, okay? Everybody that knows me knows I feed off people. I need people. I like people. I like talking to people. I like entertaining people. Yesterday, I didn't get to see an entire soul until about 9 o'clock last night when my boy Roger across the street, who's watching right now, hi Raj, and the rest of the fam and their friends, and my boy Dane, welcome. Thanks for watching. Anyways, the guy had a late day. He's a busy fella selling his wares, and yeah, and I didn't have the best of afternoons yesterday. I couldn't get out of bed. The pain, oh my god, it was a bad day. Anyways, I should have been golfing because I'm in the golf mecca of the world, Palm Desert, Palm Springs, greatest, sexiest courses I've ever seen in my life and played. Poor Bondzee was in his bed, wallowing away, writing, editing. And then I thought, this sucks. Can't believe this. Oh, fucking dinner, no golf, no nothing. A shit day. But then you know what? I thought, how lucky am I? How lucky am I to be alive still, for one, because I shouldn't be. First and foremost, for those who've watched the shows and have heard some of my stories, I literally shouldn't be walking this planet. I should be dead. And then second, I'm breathing every day, and I have 4 extremities, arms and legs that I can shake about and walk. And I thought, yeah, I'm not going to sit here and cry and wag. You know, it was a nice day because I was inundated with beautiful messages, phone calls, FaceTimey things, if you will, and it was fantastic. And when I sat back and reflected on it today, after being miserable about it, I was like, actually, Joe Q Public says, my underwear blue? It's kind of. I have pizza underwear on, and it's got a lot of blue in it, and then a million pieces of slices of pizza. Thanks for asking about my undergarments. Now I forget where I was. Oh yeah, so I was going to sit here and go, oh, poor Bondzee. No, I want everybody to feel sorry for me, and I don't though, because guess what? I am pretty lucky. I'm on a goddamn bus, a luxury bus, 45-footer in the middle of the Palm Desert in California. Most beautiful place. One of the most beautiful places I've ever been to. And my career is taking off, like the show's taking off, and my writing is taking off, and I couldn't be happier. I really couldn't, to be honest with you. And so many great things are happening, and I need to sit back and reflect sometimes and go, Bondzee, look where you were a year and a half ago. I was in my parents' basement and wanted to put a gun in my mouth and pulled the trigger. That's no joke. Not even maybe. I wanted to die and prayed to die. Now here I am, a year and a half later, killing it. And so many great fans, new fans, support, friends. It's amazing. And I wouldn't have it any other way. Me and my pizza wearing underwear. What do we got? 7-3 Minnesota are leading in the bottom of the 6th. I almost might have to upgrade from the 1.25 spectacles soon because it just keeps getting smaller every single day. Leanne says the universe gives you everything you need. You are where you need to be. Yeah. And she says, we got you. I am where I need to be. And everything, I'm the biggest believer, and everything happens for a reason. And I was scared to do this for sure. I sold a 4-bedroom house that potentially could even made me a plethora more money in the future. Sure. Also, maybe not. It was a great market. I took advantage of it. I was sick of sitting at home. I don't do sitting around very well. So I did this. And it was a gamble, and it still is. But it's forced me to get out of my house and get out of my comfort zone and do something. Listen, man, I had no regrets. 8 states, 5 months, 6 months. Now we're at 6 months and 4 days. Holy shit. Country's letting me stay for now until they say yay or nay. And then big things are happening. Now, I wanted to go to Nicaragua. Not to live for the winter, not to go and just frolic forever. I wanted to go and have me a little vacay, get some new footage, do the show down there for a bit. And then there's manager Jason, Captain Fun Wrecker. He literally gave me the hot tongue today about going to Nicaragua and his thoughts. And when Jason gives you his thoughts, they're usually not wrong, for one. And 2, you better listen. Because motherfucker's time ain't free. I am blessed to have this dude on my side. He kind of came, I'm not going to say he came out of nowhere, but man, oh man, he loves, He loves what I do. He loves the product, and he believes in me, and he has from day one. And for that, I'll be forever thankful. And so when manager fun wrecking Jason says, you better not go to Nicaragua, or he didn't say don't go or better not go. He said, I don't think you should go. I don't think it's a good idea. Now, he's not wrong, because there's a plethora of reasons too why he's right. I have substance abuse problems that I'm working heavily on. Now, I owned a bar in Nicaragua. I managed a bar in Nicaragua. And guess what? I did a lot of drinking in Nicaragua. A lot. And I was really good at it. I want to go to I would like to think I can go to Nicaragua now. Removed 2 years, much more responsible, dealing with my problems on a more regular basis. That doesn't include alcohol. It includes AA meetings. It includes microdosing, which has really helped. And it includes awesome people, and I wouldn't say daily meetings, but meetings with manager Jason, and who keeps me straight and narrow, and Dean and James and other people too. And that has also, on the flip side of that, has allowed me to help other people too, with being so honest about my problems and my addictions and how I've dealt with them and how I continue to deal with them also. Because I'm still dealing with them. I caved last weekend. I had some drinks. I'm not going to lie. It's a work in progress. I am doing a million times better. I don't sit here and crave the drink 24/7 anymore. But there's days that I do. And we'll continue to keep that a work in progress. And listen, I feel a million times better. I hope I look better. We just got to deal with this vax little nonsense that I'm going through, and then we'll be off to the races. Sean Spires, thanks for watching. Patrick says, talk to Ron. COVID is blowing up there. Yeah, so I heard. And I will take a 1 minute. And if I hope there's a bunch of people watching from Nicaragua right now, which there usually is. I want to take 1 second out of the show to show my respects to a really dear friend of mine, wonderful, wonderful human being, and everybody loved him. My friend Eric Jessup sadly passed away 2 or 3 days ago, in Nicaragua. He had COVID. The official word came down from his wife that he passed away from a heart attack, possibly due to complications from COVID, but the official death is a heart attack. Now, Eric wasn't a small fella, but he was a wonderful man, and his heart was as big as he was. And listen, everybody loved him. Everybody. And it's a sad week in Nicaragua for sure. He was there a long time, had a great business. Everybody loved him. And that's it. His only wish, he didn't want a big tada and what do you call those things? A funeral. He just wants, because in Nicaragua, for those of you who don't know, when you die there, they parade you through the street, and music playing, and there's tears flowing from all the people walking behind, and it's a real thing, and it's a different culture over there, and it's really cool. And I've seen many of them, and it's always sad. Yeah, I didn't know the fucking guy walking by, or the lady in the coffin, but just seeing that walk by, and you see all the sad people as they go by your bar and stuff, and celebrating that person's life, it hits you. You know, here today, gone tomorrow. So anyways, rest in peace, Eric. All he wanted was one of those parades. That's all he's getting. His wife's going to fulfill his wishes. And my condolences to her and everybody that knew and loved him. Okay. Rest in peace, big guy. I loved you. I really did. Such a wonderful man. All right, let's get to it. My boys here, James DiFiore. Without further ado, let's bring him on. Hi, Jamesy.
Can you hear me, Bondsee?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, good.
I
can't hear me. I can't hear me, but that's okay. I don't need to hear me.
Yeah. So how are things up you live in the middle of nowhere, by the way?
Yes. Yes, I do. I live near the eastern gates of Algonquin.
Okay.
About 20 minutes away or half an hour away from that.
By design?
Yeah. If by design you mean because my wife is from here. Yes. That would be exactly design, I think.
There you go. Well, listen, pal, let's introduce you properly. It's James DiFiore from welcome to BONDZEE Live on Tripping with Bondsee on YouTube, where everybody should be watching and not Facebook.
Do you see the moon? Do you see the moon?
I do see it. It's kind of sexy. That's a nice setting, mister.
I don't think it's sexy. I've never jerked off to the moon. Ever.
No, I can't say I ever have either.
But that would be a whole new meaning to the word waxing, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
We're off to a good start.
Or edging.
Yeah. Oh, look. They've canceled you, Bondsey. Sorry.
Yeah.
Dean got the call. Okay, that's enough.
Doesn't take long sometimes. We are also live on the Dean Blundell Network, which I'm pretty sure you're familiar with.
Yes, I am familiar with that outfit.
Yeah. Black Ball Media, and also your podcast.
What is Black Ball Media? It's just a guy, just a guy.
It's you. It's you.
It's like there's an office or something with like hallways and water coolers. No.
Yeah. But
Black Ball Media. Word media
deal.
may actually mean one guy. Just one guy.
One very smart, intelligent, intellectual fella who has done some pretty cool things, and including having Mike Bullard stay at your house, and you're currently writing a book. We'll get into that.
I'm writing a book just about that too. Just about having him.
No, I bet you could.
Bunking with Bullard.
I can't wait to ask you some questions.
Psychological thriller. Yeah,
about that. That's a nice little teaser for later, as we say in the radio industry. Okay, so let's get right to it. I joined the Dean Blundell Network 7 months ago. Sold my house, sold everything I owned, go on this crazy adventure, and Dean loved it. Jess was all on board. So I come on the show, and I'll never forget it. It's the first time you're there. Our boy Lachlan Cross is there from 95.7 Cruise FM out of Edmonton. And you literally sat there, even worse face than that, but there's the lads.
Wow. No. That's the wrong one. That is my clip from my story, and that is from the episode where I lost it on Lachlan, I believe.
Yeah, that was fantastic. What didn't you lose it on both of them though? Actually, well, it was more.
I don't know. It's hard to keep track. Sure. Who I lose it on and when.
They are bullies, aren't they? Though. Before we get into us, they pick on you and me a lot.
I wouldn't call it bullies. I would call it like a kind of casual understanding between them that they can push buttons and the other one's like, oh, I got you.
Oh yeah,
they do the button pushing thing. But the thing is, they know you only do button pushing things with button pushing people, and I'm a button pushing person. Like if you push my buttons, I'll be like, sometimes I'm not mad, but I am still saying things like, why the fuck would you go and push my buttons, you cunt? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I just
because they know it's brilliant. They know when to do it because they've been around in the business for a long time, and they are gifted at it. And they do know to do it to you and me because, and this is maybe why we didn't hit it off right away, Jamesy, which we're going to walk into in a second, is because you and me, especially after reading your amazing article, which we will also get into, I found out that you and me, and as did you, we're a ton alike, bro. In certain ways, I may say.
Okay, go ahead.
We've definitely had different lifestyles and paths, but after reading that article and stuff that you did write, and me reading it many times over, we have a lot in common. So, and we'll get into that later when we talk about the article.
I'm just like to say that I'm really sorry to hear that, Bondsey. I didn't know. I had no idea. That you and I you have some traits that I have. I mean, fuck, what are you going to do?
Well, we do. I mean, alcohol being one. I mean, first and foremost, neither one of us have been shy about our addiction to that. So we have that, but we also have drugs that we like as well. We had that in common. And thanks, Tara. She says, sorry for your loss. I just saw it. Sorry, I get sidetracked sometimes. Tara Gray says, Mike Bullard's story needs to be shared. Huge. And yes, we're going to get into that, Tara. So let's get back to you and me. I do the first show, and you literally sat there like this and just stared at me with this. I wouldn't call it.
How do you know I wasn't looking at like a spider on my screen? How do you know I was looking at you? Did I call you out? Did I call you? That I was like,
it wasn't so much that you called me out in so many words, but Dean would say stuff like, oh, who doesn't love this guy? Hands up. And you just sat there and went, and everybody put their hand up except James.
I didn't know you. I can't just say I love a guy I've never met before. It's hard enough to say you love a guy that you know well and that you actually love.
As in love, but like, oh, look at this new clown we found, and he guy sold his house.
Well, your name is Bondsey. That's very close to Bonzo, right? Right, which is close to Gonzo, right? Which is close to all those other clown names. Yeah. But when I first saw your name, like when I first read your name and I saw the spelling, I thought you were like a loan shark, like that was your character. And you were traveling around the States on a bus, just like giving out loans, like that gold jewelry guy, you know, bring your gold jewelry in cash.
It's not
I'm just kidding. I didn't think that at all. I'm just joking.
I know, but you didn't catch on right away like the other fellas did. And it took a few episodes.
Yeah, I didn't catch on. What do you mean?
But you really did. Well, just to my whole vibe and what I was up to and who I was actually.
Let me tell you what you witnessed that show. If what you're saying is accurate, and I have no reason to think it isn't, you were just probably witnessing me having a bad day, and then my targeting systems just kicked in, and I don't know this fella, but it had nothing to do with you. You could have been anybody, and it would have been maybe the same thing, unless they were really charming.
And I was going to get to that and give you kudos because we did talk about this. You probably don't remember. There's many shrooms involved along your way since this conversation, but we did talk about that start of our relationship. And you said, Bondsy, it's nothing personal whatsoever. You said it was me and my demons. And you were like, I'm just that kind of guy who was like, I just love being here, and I didn't want this new guy coming in and potentially taking my job. And because of the demons that you go through and how you feel and think sometimes, that's how you felt, and you were honest about it. And I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, but in hindsight, that's not really like you take my job.
You could have never thought for 1 second I was ever coming to take your job because that's
just kidding. But sometimes I just like freestyle. Like for all I know, with my lot, this fucker will get my job. Like it's all about me. It's like, you know what I mean? Like it's taking the dirt inside, and just like some unsuspecting poor folk is just sometimes, it's like shrapnel. You get hit with shrapnel,
of
sometimes.
Course.
And either I'm friends with the person after meeting them like that. And there's been a list of people that I haven't where my first okay, and roll them. And then we meet for the first time have been some pretty harrowing shit. Like some of it has been fights, like when I was younger. Some of it has been drug deals. Some of it has been one guy, this guy, Ernie Panicioli, who's a legendary hip hop. This is a good story. A legendary hip hop photographer. When we met, in an online sense, he called me a racist because I said the Nation of Islam lost me at UFOs or something like that, because they kind of believe that UFOs are going to come and bring, I don't know, a messiah or a good dancer or something. I don't know. And when I said that, he called me a racist, and we went back and forth, and I called him a hack photographer, and because I knew it would sting, and it did, and he blocked me. But then we became friends because I interviewed him in Toronto, and now we're tight. And in fact, he mediated a situation when I was called, in no uncertain terms, a racist by my childhood hip-hop hero, Chuck D, a Public Enemy. He knew both of us and mediated this thing where I was because I was like, Ernie, you have to tell him that, because I wrote a piece about Black Lives Matter. Long story short, it was not a racist piece. It turned out he didn't actually read it. He read someone else's take on it. And then so he retracted the racist statement behind the scenes. And first of all, it was weird getting told you're racist by your childhood hip hop hero. And second of all, to get the charge of racism mediated by a guy who, when I first met him, thought I was a racist and turned out to be this hip hop photographer guy, is just kind of weird, and it's kind of neat. And I like that kind of shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So and sometimes, you become enemies to the bitter end. You know what? I don't trust those people that you meet where it's just a little bit too cozy. You remember when Finn met the pilot in the new Star Wars movies, and they just met, and
you're asking the wrong person.
Okay. Well, anyways, it's the director was like, yeah, I don't care if we develop the friendship between these two guys. Why don't we just in the second scene make it seem like they're brothers? How about we do that? Because I don't buy that from people. I think people that are like that during the first impression, that are all yeah, man, I feel I don't know, we're connecting. We're connecting somehow. You know what I mean? Those fucking guys, I hate them. The guys that want to rub the crystal on your sore shoulder,
Yeah.
I hate those.
Well, first of all, I am the wrong guy to have a Star Wars conversation with. I've never seen 1 second of one movie. So there's that.
Okay. Okay. There's that. That's honest. That's honest.
Yeah,
That's
no, it is. And I've always debated whether I should jump the shark and go and finally cave and do it, but I don't think so. It's just not my jam, you know.
well, they didn't jump the shark until the Phantom Menace, if that makes you feel any better. So you still
it really doesn't. It's all Greek to me, bro. So it almost sounds, James, like you have to be your enemy first before you get to become really good friends with you.
Well, it's like boot camp, you know?
Yeah, sure.
We're still on the same team, but it's a little rough.
And you're the type of fella you've haven't had the greatest of upbringings, and you've been open about it.
What the fuck do you know, Bondsey? What do you know? What did you hear? What have you heard?
Well,
I didn't hear nothing. A lot of people were saying stuff.
Read.
What are you talking about? Yeah, I know.
Yeah, you threw me off. I forget what I was saying.
Never say that part out loud.
But I forget what I was saying. Anyways, good for you.
Woo! 1-0.
Well, that was a funny little accent though. And our boy Stone 1A1 says, I can't remember his name, from Edmonton. He says James doesn't look stoned at all.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I can fix that.
Yeah, please do. I've got my handy pen here. So let's get to, anyways, to end that part of the segment. I am super thankful that you came around, told Bonzarelli, Gregory. Dude, I think I could sit here and call you a friend. I love talking to you out of the show. And we have quite a few times, and we've had a couple of really cool chats, and all jokes aside and stuff, I really do appreciate your friendship, and you're a great dude. So thank you.
Oh, no problem. Why is that it? You're kicking me off?
No, that's not it.
Okay.
I'm just saying from that sentiment. Now we're gonna move on.
That's really a goodbye sentiment, Bondsey. Really, you know. Like,
well,
save that shit for later.
Yeah, I will. I was gonna even butter you up more later.
I haven't been a guest on a podcast that hasn't been about politics. I don't know. In like a year. This is like, oh no. I went on a show. I went on Chris's show. The guy that does it over the shoulder.
Let's jump into that. Dude, You're smart. Like, you're really smart. And you're politically smart too. Where's that come from? And why the love for politics?
Wow.
Because it's a weird game, isn't it?
I think the politics part is because when I found out that the people that you elect can have a say in how they control certain aspects of your life. I was like, oh, well, then why wouldn't everyone always pay attention to this? And then you find out it's really boring, right? But then something happens. I think, like, for me, what happened is I started, when I was like in grade 7, started looking at the news, like the 6 o'clock news, especially from the States. And I liked the way it was delivered, and I liked, I don't know, I was just interested in it. And then, things like along the way, you get to high school and stuff, the Monica Lewinsky case and stuff, and all these other things on TV sort of like piqued my interest to want to know who had what power and what levers they pulled. And then you start looking into some of these politicians, and it's just like they have the craziest backstories.
Yeah.
And I don't know. And I've always had a big mouth. Like when I got in trouble in school, it wasn't because I beat the shit out of some kid or something like that. It was because I used to mouth off, and I used to speak my mind. And if they told me not to speak my mind, I would just
do it more.
Speak it even louder. One time, what in grade 11. So I got kicked out of my high school. Back then, you couldn't get kicked out of your high school. You couldn't get expelled until you were 16. And my birthday was in the summertime. And my high school actually sent me a letter like a week after my birthday saying that my presence will no longer be tolerated at the high school. I had like 21 suspensions in grade 9. What? I had like 19 in grade 10 or something like that. They weren't all 3 days, obviously, because that's like almost
I hope my parents are listening right now. I wasn't that bad.
Sorry. But it was all my mouth. And then I went to this school, and there was a teacher. I still don't understand this. I'm still hot about this. to be honest with you. If I saw that guy, I'd be like, what the fuck, man? What the fuck was that? Because we were doing Shakespeare, and he was talking about rhyming patterns, and it was these stanzas. I don't remember which play or whatever it was, but one stanza ended with the word proved, like Proved, and the next line ended with the word loved. So I raised my hand, and I'm like, so some of these rhymes are visual rhymes, right? And he's like, no. And I'm like, well, you just prove love, like, isn't that just like a visual rhyme? Or did they pronounce it differently back then, where they were like "provid, loved," like were they doing that shit? And he's like, and he like just looked at me like he was, and he had the book up, and he's like, no. And I was like, well, how can it be neither, right? So I raised my hand again. He's like, yes, James. And I'm like, are you sure that it's not visual? He's like, yes, it's not. I'm like, okay, provid. Go to the office. I go to the office. It was a Catholic school where you had to wear your uniform, and I just kind of never did. I was like the only guy in the school who never wore the uniform. I'd do this thing where I was like, no, you know, my parents couldn't afford to pick it up from the cleaners because it was grocery day that day. Like I would, and they knew I was joking, right? It was we convinced one of my teachers that my nickname was Bobcat, so she just called me Bobcat for the entire time I was
hilarious. So were you like this from birth, James? Like, were you just a little nightmare to your parents and stuff? Or did this come as you got into your teen years or middle school years, I guess, and went to school and was just like, fuck, I'm not here to learn. I'm here to fuck around and make fun of people and stuff. Because it seems like you've had this wit and gift to you since birth.
Thank you. But I should say I'm technically a high school graduate who'd like dropped out of. I didn't really drop out of my first year of college. I didn't really drop out of my first year of college. I just kind of like went like twice a week, but only just to walk around the campus. I never actually
looked at the girls.
I don't know. No, I had a girlfriend. I was like, I didn't like myself when I was that age. I was like 19.
Really?
And yeah, like I wasn't trustworthy. I was arrogant. I'm still sort of arrogant, but I'm measured about it. Like I'm just not arrogant just to be an arrogant person. And I kind of was back then. I was chirpy, you know?
Sure.
Chirpy. And I hung out with all these giant guys that were like between 6'2" and 6'6", like 200 to 270. And then me.
Yeah.
Right. And the rest of them were these big. So, you know, like, I don't know. Like you say, yeah, I felt like Stonehenge would just surround me.
Sure. You felt safe. You can say whatever the hell you want. And you're not going to get your ass kicked because you got Stonehenge surrounding you.
That's true. That's right.
I do. Again, it goes back to, we have so many things in common, and this is the same. I was a smart mouth little bastard in school. If I had a supply teacher, it was game on. Boy, oh boy, did I have to be on my A game that day, and she was getting it. I had tricks and jokes up my sleeve, you know. And then I had friends that were a lot bigger than me, which wasn't hard because I was only of all 5'5", 6", even shorter.
And were you
in high school.
Scarborough?
No,
West
Hamilton.
Hill?
Hamilton.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
We know some of the same people, I think, then. They're like, that's in Dundas, isn't it?
Just before Dundas. In fact, we do know somebody, and I can't remember who it is right now, but
we know the godmother there.
Who you said one day you were like, holy, oh, you know, it's Naomi from Toronto. Yeah. That's who we're mutual.
But also the high school you went to, Michael Churm.
Westdale Warriors, home of Martin Short, went to Westdale.
Oh, that's interesting. Yep. I heard he's a dick, Martin Short.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. I don't know. I've never met the fella.
Well, I like to define people by these anecdotal moments that people tell me happened, and I don't know if they're true, and just define them.
Well, and I wasn't there, but I have one of my childhood friends owns a fine dining restaurant. I pump it on the show all the time. Shakespeare's Fine Dining. Martin Short has been a regular guest there, has for years and years and years. All I've ever heard is nothing but amazing stories about how kind and awesome and generous Martin Short is. So take it for what it is.
I don't like my sources anyways. No, it was Dean.
Yeah.
But he said it on a show. He said it on a show. That's just that he was like trying to like.
Isn't everybody to Dean like that? Dean's a different cat.
I don't know.
How did you? So it leads me into this. We don't need to go there. How did you and Dean ever meet and get into this and end up doing? You know, you're an integral part of his podcast now. It's been huge. Number 2 in Canada, by the way. You, him, and Locke. How did this ever come about?
So it's funny because Dean and I talked about this the other day, and because I told him I don't remember, and then he said that he read something of mine and then contacted me, and then I just decided to check like my email and just go back and it was actually like almost 3 years ago, I had asked him if he had like the documents just to go with one of the articles that he had put on his site. And then he told me that such and such would send it to me. And then we didn't really talk for another like 4 months. And then he emailed me and said, yeah, I just read something. And yeah. And then we worked together for a little bit podcasting. And then we kind of just like, we're doing our own thing for like 5 months or something. And then boom, back with him and Lachlan. And it's been great.
It really has. James.
Yeah. I couldn't have asked for a better situation, to be honest with you, because I don't have any broadcast experience. Like, I just, and not that I'm like nervous, not that I haven't been in front of cameras a bunch of times, but it's not like it's ever been my job or anything, or radio. Like it's never been my job. But, to have two guys with like 4 decades of experience to like, to ride with them, I'll take it. I'll let them think that I'm their Gilligan once in a while if it means staying on the show. Give a fuck.
Ditto.
All lies, anyways, gentlemen.
Exactly. And if they didn't love us, James, they wouldn't be picking on us the way they do. So
listen, I don't know why you keep on putting me in your apple cart, Bondsy. I haven't even seen what they did to you yet. Except for all that shit about vaccines and all that shit.
You've seen it, dude. I get hit pretty hard, but when I'm not on and it's just you get it harder. Like Locke doesn't get picked on by Dean nearly as much, but you do, and I do. So we are definitely in the same pot, mister.
I'm bodying you on your own show right now. If it makes you feel any better. Just kidding.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
I'm just fantastic. Kidding. Don't say. Yeah. You know what? I was trying to figure out what you remind me of. If you take off your hat. For a sec.
Dude, are you gonna make me do this? Really? Okay.
Yeah. I got less hair than you do.
How about that for a forehead?
If you put on a bad hairpiece, you would kind of look like the final thought for Jerry Springer show. Because he has his glasses.
Or is that a full-on James?
The best part of the show. Best part of the show.
Right there. No, just made Bondsy take off his hat and look like an ass in front of fucking. All the ladies don't need to know I'm struggling up top. I got a full party in the back, bud. It's going solid back there. I conditioned today too, and it's really extra fluffy and soft. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Except the only person that gets to feel it is me. It's such a waste.
Yeah, well, why? I don't understand why aren't you shaving it? Is your head shaped like a fucking like a stress ball or something?
Dude, you know what? Let me try and put up a. I can. Fuck it. I'm not gonna do it. Maybe I could get glassy. Go to my Facebook and grab even from yesterday some of the pictures. Dude, I don't know if I look good bald or not. I was bald as a cucumber for 2+ years in Nicaragua. I was, and came home from Nicaragua, lived in my parents' basement, and stopped shaving my head. First of all, I wasn't allowed upstairs, and there wasn't a plethora of sinks and stuff to bick your head.
How bad was your coke problem in Nicaragua?
Oh, it wasn't terrible. A million times worse people there.
You ran a bar in Nicaragua, and your coke habit wasn't terrible?
No, it wasn't. Wow. I mean, I could still survive it every day, and I was a different. I wasn't a coke addict. I was a lover.
Did you just say you did it every day?
No. I didn't do it every day. I was going to say I wasn't a coke addict, but I was that person who enjoyed to do it when the time presented itself or it was right. And
so
if I were the weekends, but yeah, it just depended. And
just 3-4 times
my
a week,
own joke. My mom's watching, but they know by now. I had addiction problems. I had issues. I had PTSD that I didn't know, and yeah, I did cocaine, and I'm sorry. Sorry. Yeah, I mean, shit. And
cocaine's it's the greatest drug for like 3.8 seconds, and then it's just the devil the rest of the time,
Yeah, but I was one of those guys, James, who if it was in my possession, it didn't have to be destroyed before I went to bed, and whether that was 1, 2, or 3 days later, I was
definitely that guy. I was definitely that guy.
I wasn't. I could have a gram in my pocket for 2 or 3 days, but then I could also go on a little bender with some friends and do a 24-hour. But I'm getting old, James. I'm in my 40s, and I was down there. And listen, the crash and the recovery sucks balls. And it just wasn't it turned out to not be my favorite jam anymore. And I'll never do it again. I'm over it. I haven't done it in so long.
I probably will.
Fun while it lasts.
Well, okay, because like I haven't done it in years, like not a shit ton of years, but like I don't know, 3, maybe 2. I don't know, but no, it wasn't like a lot or anything. It was like someone gave me a couple lines or something. But maybe because I didn't do Cocaine Anonymous or Alcoholics Anonymous, I don't really have this big hang up about a streak, like I don't have, and because they have sort of like I don't know what you would call it, like a program. The program for Alcoholics Anonymous is like all those steps, and the steps sort of like, I guess, strengthen each other. Each step strengthens the next or whatever. And you have to sort of like look at it as the whole one day at a time thing, because you're powerless, and then you have to believe in a higher power. And it keeps on going to this place where I'm just like, well, why do you have to? They call it a relapse. I don't know. Maybe I call it a wedding. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not built like where, like, if I do blow twice more for the rest of my life, what's wrong with that? I don't know. Yeah. I feel like for some people it's a slippery slope, but now for me, I feel like alcohol was the real enemy, right? Like it wasn't. I know that sounds almost ridiculous, but I have never ever wanted to do cocaine when I haven't been drunk ever.
Yeah.
In my life. So you get rid of alcohol and they're like, oh, great, I got rid of cocaine. And then you got rid of cocaine. You're like, oh, great, I got rid of sexually charged thoughts, late at night, and all that kind of stuff. Right. Great. So it just like I knocked down that first domino in the other direction and nothing, and it was all fine. And as long as I don't get drunk in a place that has lots of cocaine and girls, I guess I should be okay. So I'm not going to Philly.
Well, congrats on your soberness. I know you had a moment back. You talked about it on your show and in your writing back at Christmas, I guess, a couple of years ago, and you've been sober since. So good on you for that. And
except for that one mushroom episode, because I don't believe in streaks. Remember, it was like 3 light beers and shrooms, and I was like, I'm not sure. What are you talking about? Like,
remember when you got booted off Dean's podcast one day?
That's the one I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's so. So let's talk shrooms for a hot minute, because you're a fan, and also I've never met anybody that can do more mushrooms in one sitting than you. So I don't know if that you want to take that as a congratulations or a problem.
No, I don't. I wouldn't go that far. I don't know how that happened, because when I was young, it wasn't like that at all. But
we talked.
Yeah.
Sorry. We talked 2 weeks ago on the weekend, if I may. And you were, Bondzee just did 5 grams of mushrooms. Want to do a podcast?
Yeah.
And I was like, dude,
actually, it was going like so much. Hello, Bondzee. It's James. No, it wasn't even like that at all, because it was just kind of mild, right? It wasn't.
Yeah. Crazy. You even said, that tells me, folks, he goes, Bondzee, I'm on 5 grams of mushrooms. Want to do a podcast? And sadly, I was in ultimate pain. It just wasn't in the cards.
How do you think I felt? I was on 5 grams of
5 grams, dude. I almost died on 2 grams, and you're sitting here talking to me, having a conversation on 5. And he goes, "Yeah, it was fun for a little bit, and then I just got tired and went to bed." And you were with Mike Bullard at the time. Did he even know you were on 5 grams of shrooms?
Okay, just between me, you, and whoever.
Sorry. Did I
thousands of people that will eventually listen to this, including maybe Mike Bullard.
Sorry, dude.
I pretended he didn't know I was tripping. And I pretended that I was I'm like, you can have the bedroom and I'll sleep on the couch. And he's like, James, I'm not gonna let a man sleep in his own house and not sleep in a bed. I'll take the couch. And I'm just like, fuck you, Bullard. You're taking the bedroom. And so then he went out, and because a friend of his lives close by. And when I saw his headlights, I closed my computer and I lied down on the couch and I pretended to be asleep. And then not only that, but just for fun, I pretended that his bang in the bathroom woke me up. And so I was like this, and then I heard a bang, and I was like, and then I got into character before he saw me, and I was like, oh, fuck, man. Is that you? Fuck, what time is it?
That's awesome.
Because I didn't want to stay up. I just didn't want to. I wanted to just veg out and watch a movie with my headphones.
It's wild. And it's sad, because I used to love mushrooms back in the day, high school, a little older, going to, I never went to so many hip concerts that I went to in my life, OLP and stuff, fired up on mushrooms. But it wasn't that, I was in a zone, and I loved it, and it was fantastic. And then I have the incident where, I wasn't diagnosed until, 6, 7 years later. But I remember watching the kid getting hit and killed by the train. Never touched mushrooms again for I think 6, 7, 8 years, because I already knew what mushrooms did to me. And the fact that may come up or happen and I'd be with people and ruin their time because of my bad trip, which I never really had on mushrooms, but I knew it was there and the potential was there, especially after what happened. I really never touched them again until I dropped 2 grams of chocolate mushrooms by accident and almost died.
Yeah. I am under the I remember that story, and I'm under the belief that just people in general, bad trips are often psychosomatic.
Yeah.
They are like, you'll latch on to a momentary uncomfortable feeling and exploit it and then ride in only that. And that is like, and then your physical will sort of like, it will feel like it's reacting, you know, so you're like, oh, this is just so much potency. But it's really like the same with weed. It's funny because shrooms and weed are obviously not alike at all, but weed is similar. When people like say they get like paranoid on weed, well, it's their thoughts that make them think that their heart is coming out of their chest, because they're like, well, I'm gonna lose my job. My friends, my husband is gonna find out that I'm cheating on him, or whatever the fuck it may be, right? Like they get and it makes them panicky. And shrooms and acid is like that. But also, when I was young, I and you were probably the same. Shrooms made me look outward. I wanted to laugh. I wanted to like look at things. I wanted to do that kind of stuff and walk around nature and shit. But when I'm 45 now, and I'm like, you know, for the last 10 years or whatever, it's all about looking inward. It's totally different. I want to do shrooms when I'm by myself, or like at nighttime, or with like one other person at the most, but preferably most of the time, like unless it's a party or something, I'd rather just do them by myself, you know, and like study visuals and like look at the eye floaties that make, and it's just all these, you know, interesting thoughts that you have about your own ego and, you know, what you're offering. And I don't know, it's totally different. It's like a different drug altogether.
Yeah.
From then until now.
Is it with mushrooms and weed? They are so different, but yet alike. And I think you're so at 45 and you're sitting here chucking 5 grams down your gullet alone. Isn't that weird? Now I understand what you're saying.
You know what's weird? Your fucking glasses and your hair. That's what's fucking weird, Bondzee. What do you mean? What is it? Is it weird? I don't know if it's weird. I don't know why I have such a tolerance, if you would even call it that. Maybe I have a biochem that's. I have no fucking idea.
I'll be blind for the rest of the show. How's that?
Yeah, that's
now all better. The fucking
I'm blind,
is fuzzy, and I can't see who's watching.
I have the worst eyesight ever, Lachlan. Don't worry about it.
That's what I look like right now after having them on for a while. You fuck.
I'm just kidding. Yeah, so it's just a different drug altogether. I think like it's not the same as it was, and you just have to know how to use it. And the 5 gram thing, I like to go to outer space. So I might not even have like a big tolerance to it. I don't like to just trip out for like 3 or 4 hours. I like to have at least an hour and a half of just straight up, I am in the land of cartoons. And also, I am not the one making this narrative. Like, you know, and forget yourself. I forgot my name once when I was on ketamine. That wasn't that fun.
Twice. I liked it.
I didn't like it at all. I was sitting here studying my reflection. I was like 24. I did this big giant line. I thought it was blow, but it was K. And it was like a quarter gram of it was like a quarter gram of K. In
wow,
just like that. And I paced up and down Adelaide Street in Toronto because I was managing electronic music DJs and throwing raves during this time in my life. And I walked up and down. We were throwing at the living room actually, and I would catch myself in the reflection of this door, and for like a half an hour, I'd stop every time because I'd pace back and forth, and I'd look at the reflection, and it was me, obviously, and I was just like, "What is my name?" I didn't know my name, and it wasn't like I was panicking. I had my hands in my pockets, and just like, "Oh, that's fucked up. I don't know my name." Okay, I guess I'll just keep pacing. Yeah.
You're lucky you're not locked up in a mental institution from those kind of days wandering around like that.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, probably they just give you that charcoal stuff. It's weird, man. Like, that's, what's funny, that same night I was standing outside the bar that had like these, like, I don't know if you remember the living room, but it had like these floor to ceiling shutters that came up so that you could sort of be on a landing looking into this place. And I was looking at my friend Laura sitting in a booth, and she was facing me. She's like, "Hi, James." And I was like, "Oh, fuck." And I go like this. And when I stop rubbing my eyes, I'm sitting beside Laura, and I'm looking at the place that I was standing 20 feet away. But for me, it happened in like 3 seconds while I was rubbing my eyes. And Laura's like, it took you like 8 minutes to walk here. It's just like, holy fuck, what did that look like? She's like, people thought you were meditating, like those slow walkers that like meditate because they take forever to take like 10 steps. It takes them like 5 minutes or something. Like, and I was like, oh, let's just go with that.
Sure. Do you ever wish you had footage of that so you could look back on it and go, holy shit, look at me?
No.
I'm fucked up. No,
not at all. Not at all.
Sorry, my dog just jumped up here and almost knocked my computer off. Hi, how are you? Way to interrupt.
I like your dog. Your dog's name is Tucker. That's hilarious. Is he named after
Darcy Tucker?
PJ Tucker?
No, Darcy.
Oh, really?
Back in the day, that's where. Yeah, Tucker saw 13 next 2 months, November 31st, and
wow.
Yeah, he back in that era of the Leafs and the love Darcy Tucker. Full of great determination.
Why did I hear you say before I came on that you were like, you still think of offing yourself? Are you serious? I'm not being funny anymore.
No, a year and a half. Back when I came back from Nicaragua, I was in a dark place. I came from raging alcoholic central but functioning, running an awesome bar, having the greatest time. And then all of a sudden it was just a huge crash. I was trapped in my parents' basement. Didn't know what the hell was it going to do. Didn't know how long the pandemic was going to last. I really went dark. I went from running this awesome bar and being surrounded by people and being me every day, making people laugh and drinking at the same time, to 14 days of locked in my parents' basement. And I went dark quickly.
When you say you went dark, were you consuming drugs? Were you like
drugs? Just copious amounts of alcohol day and night because I was so bored. You couldn't do anything down there. You could only watch so many movies and shit and YouTube stuff in a day. I had no job, had nothing to do to occupy my time, and so I was just getting more wasted, smoke more weed. I think I could do solitaire. I could do solitary confinement if I had a laptop. Really? I'm not sure I still could. I need it's like the sun for me. Some people are like need the sun to function and operate, and I need people, dude. I don't do alone well, and I was getting more and more depressed and drinking more and more, and my PTSD was coming out more and more. The nightmares were getting worse and worse, and I just wasn't even though I was in the comfort of my parents' home.
Yeah,
I wasn't happy, and I was in a bad place. I was for sure. And this show, I started doing it, and it was a debacle at first. Good Lord. But I just kept going, and people started to pay attention. And I was real and raw and honest. And I talked about my struggles and how I was fucking I'd go to bed every night in my parents' basement, James, praying not to wake up. And let somebody else take the cancer. Or I'll take the cancer.
Couldn't you find a gun? I'm just kidding.
Thank God I couldn't. Anyways, enough of that.
No, I know. I'm just kidding. No. I like levity, but sometimes I got to pick my spots better. Clearly, but
it's all good.
I know how that feels. I know exactly how that feels.
And I hope most people don't ever have to go through that.
Yeah, because I was hard on myself for so long, and then I would do stupid things. And it would like confirm my own bias against myself. And then see, fucking worth nothing, man. Like that's the voice that was in my, in my head. So I know what you mean. You
know what saved me too is not only the show though, was now that I had a microphone and I had a platform a bit, but I also was like, well, damn, I'm sitting here and I would do 3 shows a week because I was so bored. And I did put work and effort into it. And right from the get-go. But I also found that, well, dude, I got a microphone. I used to be on radio. I've done some commercials and stuff in the past. I got paid for nicely. And I thought, well, shit, you're sitting here doing nothing. So I built a profile on Upwork and some other places, and lo and behold, dude, not like 2 days later, I've got work, and then now look at me. I mean, it's a year and a half plus, even longer than that now. Shit. And here I am, on the Dean Blundell Network. I've got a ton of scripts, and it's been a blessing. It saved my life.
I think what you're doing is awesome. I think Dean and Lachlan, during one of their moments of let's create something out of thin air, paste it onto James's face, said that I wouldn't have done what you did. I couldn't because I don't have a driver's license. But other than that, if I was single, I totally would have done what you did. That is exactly my speed. Just wandering into to the United States like during a pandemic on a bus. Fuck yeah, sign me up. If I was single with no kids, I'd be your driver. I'd get a license, maybe.
You would get a license just for that.
Yeah, I would.
Listen, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I moved to Los Angeles on like 4 hours notice once.
Wow. And how long did that last?
And I crossed the border with an expired birth certificate.
How long did you last in LA after making that decision so quickly?
I lived in Los Angeles, and then I lived in South Beach, and I was gone for like a year.
Oh, wow. Good for you. Experience must have been amazing. And Brad wants to know, how the F are you in Killaloo without a driver's license? I wondered the same. I don't know how you've done it, dude, all these years.
It forces you to become a little bit more resourceful or a little bit more choosy on when you leave the house and for what,
Do you thumb it ever?
No,
never.
No. The thing is, I don't care as much as other people care,
Yeah.
I don't know. I had a license when I was younger, when I was like 17 to like 22. And then I let it lapse because I was dating this environmentalist person. And she, I don't know. I was like, shit, I got to renew this. And she's like, why would you bother? You live in Toronto and, you don't need a car here. It's going to cost you like an extra $800 just to do it. Why don't you come back to bed? And I was like, fuck it, So I didn't. I let it lapse. And then I was living in Toronto for the next 15 years or whatever. And, it never came up literally because I live in Toronto. So
do you have an e-bike?
No.
You don't even have an e-bike, bro?
No, I have legs.
You and me are different. We're different in that way. I'll tell you right now. A couple more things before I let you go. We got to talk about Bullard, but before that, I have to let everybody know, dude, you're a librarian in a prison. How does one twice a week get a job as a librarian in a prison?
Okay, I can't tell if you're joking because you're not in the know or because you are in the know.
I'm not in the know. I really am not. I'll tell you the truth. But I'm dying to know.
It's not a prison. It's a library. Lachlan just calls it the prison library.
Oh, fuck. I didn't know.
See, you're letting them win. This is why they're winning, Bondzee.
I'm so embarrassed right now. Fuck, I should have asked you off air. God damn it. I legit thought, and I had all these questions lined up here. I'm like, so are you in like one of them country club prisons or are you
research,
is your life in danger?
Hey, by the way,
Lachlan in the balls there's Bondzee bald as a cucumber.
Oh my God, you're my fucking stunt double.
I know, dude. We could be twins. Look at that.
Okay, can I just say something? And I'm not joking. This is the real me.
Yeah.
Shave your stupid fucking head, Bondzee. Don't be a fucking idiot. Shave your head, Millhouse's dad. Like what are you doing? Like that, look how blue you are, Millhouse's dad, Mr. Van Houten. You got to stop with that shit. Look at you. You look like Stone Cold's little cousin, and it's still okay.
I know. I could kick some ass. I like my curly locks at the back. Like, okay, hold on.
No one else does.
Look at the nice flow. Look at that flow, yo. Come on. That's nice flow, bud. Like,
I'll send you this.
Okay, it's not so sharp on top.
I'll save this for you.
At the back, isn't it?
I'll save this for you. This big giant bud.
That's lovely, by the way.
Yes, if you shave your head, I will personally dry that. I just took it off today, and I will put it in jars and I'll cure it. If you shave your head, but you have 48 hours, and if you don't do it, you're so stupid. Are you fucking kidding? You look sexy as a bald man. We could do fraudage with our actual heads.
I wish I felt the same way. Let's leave it up to the ladies, or even the guys. What do you think? Bald Bondsey or Goldie Flow and Locks Bondsey? You guys be the judge. And,
hey, lady, should Bondsey take off his locks, or should he keep them for some fucking reason? You're not Samson. Shave that shit.
Sound like Lachlan back in 1989 in North
Leanne
Alberta.
Knows the shit. Look at Leanne. Look at Library Hot Leanne says, I'd sleep with you.
I'm shaving my head right now. As soon as I get off this show, it's coming off. Leanne, how fast can he be on a flight to California?
Baldsy. Come on, Baldsy.
Everybody wants me to shave it. What? I'm shocked by this.
I am not shocked by this, and I don't know how you are. You don't look at yourself. Come on, Bondsey.
I don't. I try not to look in the mirror a whole lot. Once in a while, I do have to get some self-love.
Yeah, I sound mean right now, Bondsey, but I'm sorry. But no,
it's not mean. I'm taking this all in. Joe Q Public says lose the skullet. That's my new best friend, Joe Q Public. I don't know who he is, but I love him. Whether he yells at me or loves me, I don't care.
If you're confident in your hair, then you have to do the rest of the podcast without your hat on.
No fucking way. Not a chance in the world.
Shave your fucking head. There's your answer right there. And by the way, I just like to say that golf, you're not in the Mecca of golf. It's golf, right? It'd be a little more like the Vatican of golf, right?
Okay. Well, there we go. Like I said, you're way smarter than me. So thank you for correcting me on that. Okay. Before we leave, we've talked about you and Bullard. He spent some time at your house whilst you were on 5 grams of mushrooms, by the way. How did this all come about? So we're not going to get into the whole story. Mike Bullard's gone through a tough time, obviously. He was shunned by the media. He's gone through a really shit time. And thanks to you, Dean, and the whole network, you guys had him on. And it turned into, and you've taken it a step further. And you and Mike are.
I'm from Prince George. I took in a train over there, and
I took the train over there. I did. Anyways, jokes aside, you are writing a book. So it's how does this work? Is Mike sit there and just ramble at you, and you're, or do you soak it all in? Walk me through this little process with Mike.
I try my best to make him. Yeah, well, I try my best to make him feel like he's actually doing some work. Hard sometimes. No, I'm just kidding. We actually work really well together. We have it was really fluid from the beginning, and it's not like a ghostwrite, it's a co-write. So there are X number of chapters, and some of the chapters are more like a personal aspect, and some of the chapters are more of like a legal or media sort of perspective. And so we sort of go back and forth. It won't necessarily be like him, me, but some chapters will be written by him, some by myself. And I don't know, it's an interesting. He's had an interesting go at it because of all that stuff with with being charged with doing something he didn't do, and and all that kind of stuff. But he's also flawed, and I don't mean that in any sort of horrible, creepy or illegal way or anything like that. But he's he's what I call organically belligerent.
Because he doesn't come from what. Does that come from what he went through, James? Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah, it totally does. Or maybe because his friends say that he's back to the old Mike, and it's like, okay, he was a bombastic fucking ball buster back then. That's okay though, because so am I. You know what I mean? Right. It's totally fine. And I honestly think that part of the reason that he went through all that shit is because his bombastic presence, and I don't even mean that in a bad way. He's just when Bullard's there, if there's no mistake, he's a Bullard in a china shop, right? But I think that personality type, maybe it was fucking easy to do what they did, because he's kind of salt of the earth too. So what you see is what you get. You know what I mean? He's the same guy on TV as he is off. Same guy on stage as he is off. There's no mystery. So
he seems like such a lovable, fun teddy bear dude that, he just loves to engage. You tickle his belly and he'd be like, hee hee, but I know you have a different side to it, because you spent some serious time with him, and not only at your house, but also you guys rendezvoused to a place in, I think, Sabo Beach together, right?
Yep, we went to me, him, and his lawyer actually went to this nice beach house. It was really fucking nice, actually. And that's where we started working on the book. So I just did like hours and like 50 or 60 hours of interviews with him and a couple other people. And yeah, it was neat. You know, that because we had never met in person before that. So he came on the podcast because so at first I invited him. Actually, at first I was like to Dean and Lachlan, listen, I'm going to invite Bullard on. And they were kind of like, and we said this on another podcast, so I'm not talking out of school or anything, but they were like, and I think especially Lachlan was like, are you sure we want to have like a, you know, someone who like stalks somebody? And I was sort of familiar with the innards of Bullard's story because I knew a researcher that had worked on his case, and I knew a lawyer who was sort of like a friend of mine and who's no longer with us, who was working on the case. And I knew that there was like a lot of bullshit that was going on with it. And then so they said, fine, they gave a tentative yes. And I'm like, it'll be fine. And then when I contacted Bullard and was like, okay, this date or whatever, he gets a hold of me on that. He called me and he's like, are you going to sandbag me? Keep in mind, we don't know each other at all. And I'm like, what? He's like, is this a trap? And I'm like, no, it's not.
Can't blame him though.
At first I giggled a little bit. I'm like, no, dude, it's not a trap, you know. And by the way, that's a Star Wars line. And Star Wars, by the way, is a science fiction movie and it has a whole bunch of them. Bondsee.
Wow.
Yeah. And
maybe I'll shave my head this weekend and watch fucking Star Wars all the entire time.
Dude, my girlfriend has the best all-time Star Wars joke, and she told it when she was just like you, who she had never seen any of them, and I made her watch like Empire Strikes Back, I think. First, because I just wanted her to like not start off with bad acting, Mark Hamill in the first one, and she saw Yoda, and she's like, "Is that Choda?" And I'm like, "What?" She's like, "Is that Choda?" And I'm like, "No, that's Yoda." And she's like, "Oh, well, what's the difference? It's still just a small piece of skin." And I was like, "It's the greatest fucking joke I've ever heard." For someone that's been watching Star Wars for an hour and a half, that was the greatest joke.
That's mic drop central right there.
Yeah, it was good.
Well, listen, dude, I won't keep you anymore. It's late there, and I can't thank you enough. This has been an absolute blast. I think everybody's enjoyed it. The comments have been great. It looks like I'm shaving my goddamn head thanks to you, and we're going to be twins, mister. Put that picture up one more time and put James, put your head right beside it, and we can see how much we look alike.
I thought you didn't like the fraudage. Hold on. Look at that. That's actually kind of scary. Oh, you just need a goatee now, mister, and we'll be twinsies. No. I'm like 13% better looking. Just 13%. Just 13? Well, you wait till I lose a few more LBs, and maybe I'll even lose the goatee and everything, or the scruff I got going on, and I'll be as handsome as Jamesy. I'm also 84% asshole, and I'm very sorry about that. Yeah, I'm not. I don't have quite that much asshole in me. Yeah, I got a lot of asshole in me. Yeah, but that's okay, dude. And that's you. Oh, and right. Wait, hold on. I got so much asshole in me that my nickname is Elton John. Wow. Just kidding. I don't even know what that means, really. I just made it up. I have no idea what that means. I had Arby's today. Look at they canceled us again. Look. Yeah, there we go. Boom. Yeah. Hey, Glassy, he just loves that. Oh, it's his new favorite thing. And he says, it's okay, Mr. Bondsee, I know I'm producing a show, but can I show that little thing once in a while? He gets such a kick out of it. So who are you talking about? This is my boy here, Glassy, producing the show. James, hey, what's up, man? Hey, buddy. Hey, first off, your article, man, that was awesome. And I was totally on your side with that. Like, totally got where you were coming from. I'm going through a breakup right now, and it really meant a lot. Just wanted to like that. I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry about the break. I hate breakup pain. It's the worst one. Worst pain there is. Yeah. Hey. Good luck. Just kidding. Anyways, it's my boy, and he's been doing a great job tonight, throwing up all those pictures. He found the bald-headed Bondsee, and now all the girls want me now. I'm telling you. That's all I had to do is shave my head to get some puss around here. Dude, you were in Texas. You should have shaved your head as soon as you pulled up into state line. Is this the Texas state line? Where the hell was Leanne when I was in Texas 6 months ago and I started this whole trip? I could have been getting laid the whole time if I had no hair. I think you're disparaging Leanne's character a little bit, by assuming that you would get. Yeah, well, she would. She said so. All right, but maybe she just meant nap. Okay. Like, we live in dangerous times, Bondsy. You got to be careful.
I know. I better be careful. Sorry, Leanne. I didn't mean any harm.
Leanne, if you want to Me Too him, give me a call. I can craft something up and publish something for you.
Shut your mouth. And Leanne, never mind that. Just DM me.
Yeah, right.
Fuck the Me Too.
All right, Bondsy. Thank you,
dude,
man,
you're the best.
I
encourage everybody to go and read your article that you dropped on D. Blundell Network about a week and a bit ago. Dude, it's heavy stuff. It really is. And I don't
That's
care
when I was a
where you
Muslim.
are at,
I was a Muslim.
all jokes aside, I don't care where you're at in life. If you're loving it, everything's great. If you're down in the dumps or you're in between, go and read this piece, because James, you're a very intellectual fella, and you can write like a champion, and it comes out in that article, and it's brilliant. So I encourage. I'm not going to sit here and rah sis Mumbai all night about it, but congratulations. It's a heavy, fantastic article, and you should be proud. You should be. All right, man. You have a good night, dude. I appreciate that. I appreciate what you do as well, and keep doing shit and risk your life a little bit more because it's entertaining. Okay. I appreciate that. Thanks so much for joining me. Everybody, that's James DiFiore, at James DiFiore, Blackball Media. You can go check him out there. And he's got his own podcast as well, Blackballed with James DiFiore. What a wonderful human being. Funny how we started off, and it's funny where we are at now. I hope you all enjoyed that interview. I love that guy, and I'm super proud to be a sidekick of his, Lachlan's and Dean's, twice a week on the Dean Blundell Network. Go check it out Monday to Friday, 3 p.m. You'll catch James there. James is 3 days a week because he's got the library gig. So he's there Monday, Tuesday, and Thursdays. Guy's the best. Check him out, Blackball Media, like I said. Joe Q Public says James is a great guest. Yeah, he was. He really was. And it's hard getting good guests. It's hard getting, never mind good guests, it's hard getting guests, period. Doesn't matter how big or small your show is. It's one of the hardest things. Ask Baba Booey on the Howard Stern show. Now, you got a little more clout over the years, but let's start where we're kind of at, sort of. I think I'm doing a pretty good job so far. I hope you like the guests I've had. Many more great guests to come. We've got, listen, it just reminded me, everybody's been stoked. Old Reggie, my boy Reggie, signed, sealed, and delivered. Next Friday, folks. You're welcome. There he is, my boy Reggie. Reggie, for those who don't know, Reggie drove, was Bill Cosby's personal limo driver when he was a teenager, late teenager. Worked for him for years, lived at Bill's house. Never saw none of the shenanigans. I'm not going to tell anything. I'll fucking let Jerry tell. Jerry. Yeah, Jerry. Tell it. But anyways, Bill sent Jerry on his way to firefighting college, and Jerry's got more stories than Walt Disney. He's as funny as wow, what's wrong with that? I'm all excited because it was a great interview, and I'm all fired up about it. He's as funny as Eddie Murphy. Speaks like Eddie Murphy, and he looks like Michael Jordan and Eddie Murphy combined. If those two screwed and had a man baby. Love that guy. I can't wait. I'm telling you right now, we're going to have a whole new little Reggie opening segment in it, like music and video and stuff. It's going to be fancy. You wait and see. Because I guess we should do it because it is the last night. Or should we save the last segment of everybody's favorite cereals and toys for Monday's show? Because it's the last one. We're going to cut it off. It's done. We ran the gambit on it. I got a good one. Should we do it tonight, Glassy, or should we save it for Monday? Because we're already been at this an hour and 18 minutes. I have to pish.
It's completely up to you. I think we should do a show where you shave your head bald live. I think somebody was onto that.
That's going to happen. I'm not going to sit here and do. Listen, that's high. That's ratings, Mister. But the hairs, I guess I'm going to have to sleep on it. But all the ladies seem to agree that Bonzarelli looks more sexier, and they'd sleep with me potentially.
Yeah, Leanne.
To shave my head.
Jesus. Yeah, right on.
So I guess we'll do it. I think so. I guess we'll do it.
You gotta go pee though. You can.
Yeah, I think we'll say so. Yeah, it's. But I worked hard on the show today. I knew James and I were going to get into it. So I've got extra content. Let's save it. We've had enough time together. It's enough of Bondsey for the day. I was already on Dean's show for an hour plus. Now we've done this for an hour and 19 minutes. You guys are the best. You're sexy. It's been a great week. I hope you had a great week. And if you didn't, pick your chin up. Call me, text me, DM me. I'll talk to you. I'll help you out.
Brad,
maybe you'll do the same for me.
Coming up, Brad.
Brad is coming up on the show next week. Oh, also next week, an amazing entrepreneur, high school childhood friend of mine, Holly McKeon. She's got an amazing product for all you mummies out there. Even if you're a yummy mummy, you'll like this one too. For all moms out there. Every mom's yummy mummy, aren't they? Just trying to pull my foot out of my mouth. I should have the show. It's time to go. Yeah, Holly McKeon's got this amazing product. Can't wait to talk to her. It's an amazing entrepreneurial thing she's got going on. Jeremy Taggart is coming up the following week. Oh, maybe even next Friday. Haven't secured it, but I know he's coming on. Dude's busy. He's just moved into a brand new house, renovating the entire place. I know how busy he is. But Jeremy Taggart, Holly McKeon, my boy from the Hells Angels, is also coming up shortly. I think that'll be next week too.
And Reggie,
we're gonna pre-record that interview, and that's gonna be amazing too. He's got a ton of stories as well. And then we got Reggie next Friday. Reggie next Friday for sure. So I hope you enjoyed the show. Thanks everybody for watching. You guys have been the best. I love my new fans. Leanne, Joe Q Public, you're the best. Brad, can't wait to have you on coming up soon. Gwen, thank you so much for watching. Aaron Brown, oh my God, there's so many more. Shannon Veltri, thanks for watching. Kelly Monahan, who says my head does look very nice shaved. Thank you.
It's turning out really well, buddy.
Jason Palmer. We got Jennifer Miller, everybody, Sean Spires. You guys are the best. Thanks so much for watching. It's BONDZEE Live. Oh, listen, before I go, one more shout out to Shakespeare's because my dad's going for his birthday on Wednesday. Go check out Shakespeare's Fine Dining. It's open. Got to bring your, you need to be vaxxed to go there. They hate it, but it's the rules. It is what it is. Just so bring your vax cards and go there. Make a reservation. The surf and turf is to die for. The blue cheese salad that the scallops. Me mom wants some scallops. That's her favorite. She'll be getting that on Wednesday, I'm sure. Also, their Caesar salad is the best. And the service is the best too. Leo, Christina, Peter, the entire family, they'll take care of you. Go check them out. Everybody, all the celebrities, they come from Toronto and make the trip up the old 403, the QEW. And they go to Shakespeare's Fine Dining, and you should too. Tara's going on tomorrow on my recommendation. Have a great time there, Tara. Enjoy it. It's the best. Love you all. Love yourself. Love one another. James DiFiore, what a great guest tonight. Can't thank him enough.
That was awesome. That was a good.
Love working with him. Loved having him as a guest. The guy's the greatest. You guys are the greatest. It's BONDZEE Live on Trippin' with BONDZEE on YouTube. Please go subscribe. It's free. It's easy. Go watch the show there. Get off Facebook. Fuck Mark Zuckerberg. Fuck Mark Zuckerberg. I'm going to say it one more time. F Mark Zuckerberg. Get off Facebook. Go watch me on YouTube so I can get paid. Please. Thank you. Love you. It's BONDZEE Live. Time to go. Ciao. It's BONDZEE Live. BONDZEE on YouTube.